If you're an employer or someone in the job market searching for your next opportunity, then you know the importance of effective body language and how crucial it can be to making a positive first impression. Because long gone are the days in the interview process where it's only centered on your effective written and verbal communications. It's the things that you don't say that make the most difference. Sundar, better known as author Roy Mapleton, knows all about this. He's an engineer, author, and body language expert who is passionate about helping other people better market themselves in order to get a job and ahead in life. He's the author of Acing Your Job Search, Strategies to Succeed Where Other Job Seekers Fail. He joined me this week to tell me all about the strategies in the book and how we can all seal the deal and land our dream job. I'm Kevin McShann. Let's have this conversation. We began our conversation by Mapleton providing me with an overview of his life story and what provides him the most fulfillment in terms of satisfying his passion to maximizing the potential of others along the way.
Sure. So I'm from India and I've lived in 5 countries. I've lived in the United States, India, of course, Singapore, the Netherlands, and I now live in Canada. That said, I graduated in 2006 from Wayne State University in Detroit in mechanical engineering, and since then I've been working in mechanical engineering as well. But for the last few years, I've been helping um, business owners and HR people, and I've also helped a lot of job seekers improve their body language during interviews. So my passion is in bringing out the best in people.
Absolutely, and you help them get themselves marketed better from a marketing standpoint when they're looking to professionally advance. So I'm also curious to ask you about how people can put their best foot forward from an effective marketing standpoint as well.
Sure. The first thing, the most important thing is probably authenticity. So um, you can teach skills, but you cannot teach values. So the most important thing is to project yourself the way you are, and it's just a question of polishing around the edges, which body language training helps people do. Um, and it's all about empathizing with others, and that's what helps you improve your relationships on a social level, and in daily life.
Yeah, absolutely. You had mentioned this earlier about the importance of professional or like-minded body language. So tell me, how do you think we can all improve our body language, and how big of a factor is it when we're looking to present ourselves as well?
Yeah, so when we talk about first impressions, for instance, then the way you shake someone's hand can tell them more about you than you think. For instance, if you shake hands with your palm facing out like this, then you're being, that's a standard business handshake. But if your palm faces the floor, then you're trying to dominate the other person. And if your palm faces up like this, then you're being submissive. And when you greet somebody, if you greet them with your chin up like this, then it shows a less friendly attitude towards them than when you lower your head. But more importantly, it's critical to success to understand the local culture and the local gestures when it comes to body language. So the same gesture in the United States may mean something completely different in Western Europe or in East Asia. So first thing is to create a good first impression by showing the person that you're completely invested in that conversation, that moment. You're facing the audience, you're facing your interviewer, and you're not trying to show dominant behavior. If you're standing, then you want your toes and your torso pointed at them. They're all facing them. And if your toes are pointed in a different direction, like towards an exit, then that gives the impression that you're just waiting to run away.
Yeah, well, thanks for those helpful and insightful tips on body language. It's important to make an own personal investment in your success. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. So a lot of people offer advice on what to say, but there's not a lot of advice on how to say it, because your non-verbal communication makes up for 93% of your total communication. Only 7% is based on what you say. So if you want to improve your personal relationships, if you want to do better in the business world or in your personal life or social life, whatever, then it's critical to improve your own body language using using some of the tools that are available.
Yeah, and of course, you've written a book talking about job searching, acting your job search strategies where other job seekers have failed. And I know that some of these tips are in the book as well. And I'm wondering if you can tell me all about the message that you were hoping to convey through the book.
Some of the feedback that I've received from people who have read it, from other career coaches that I sent copies to, was it has a positive tone of voice. It's very encouraging. There's almost no theory, and there's several actionable items that you can just follow, even when it comes to body language. But that's one part of the book. The rest of it deals with how to answer questions, how to create your resume, how to write business letters, things like that. There's a lot of links on where to look for jobs, and that's the kind of tone that I wanted the book to be in, was positive, because I spent soon after graduation. You live in Windsor, if I'm right. Yeah.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So I lived in Detroit, and that area was one of the hardest hit during the recession, and I ended up not being able to find jobs, and I struggled for a while, and a lot of people are struggling even now during this the times of COVID-19. So it's important to have a resource that gives you encouragement and gives you hope, and that's the message that I want to convey.
Absolutely. And Rob, tell me about, I want to go back to marketing for just a second. And I was curious to ask you your three keys to ensuring we can all execute a valuable, disciplined, and targeted marketing message, which resonates with the people that we need it to resonate with, and so that it can be sustainable as well.
The most important thing is whenever you, okay, so even in an interview, you're marketing yourself, you're marketing your own skills, and you want to present yourself as the ideal candidate to an employer. So when we talk about three key skills, the first thing, as we talked about before, is be authentic. Do not try to oversell, and do not try to falsify anything either during the interview or in your job search documents, your resume or cover letter. And focus more on the value that you bring than on a specific set of skills, because skills can be trained. And the third thing I would say is it's also applicable to any marketing situation, would be empathy. I'm not sure if okay, so Daniel Pink has this course on masterclass.com, and he talks about sales and persuasion. And one of the activities that he presents over there is to draw the letter E in the air in front of you. So if let's say capital E, if I draw it like this, then that E is facing me, which means I'm thinking about something from my own standpoint. But you as a viewer, you're sitting across from me, and if I draw it like this, then I'm making it convenient for you, and that shows that I'm thinking about you and what you want, and I'm empathizing with you, essentially. So that's a very critical skill towards effective marketing.
Thanks for sharing that, Ram. And I'm also wanting your opinion on the importance of infusing individuals with disabilities into the workforce. You know, I was born with cerebral palsy, and I've one of my personal passions is making sure that individuals with disabilities are equally represented in the workforce. So I'm curious to ask you about the importance of infusing more people with disabilities into the workforce. How do you think we can do that effectively?
I think people need to realize that skills can be trained, and there different people, based on their abilities, they can imbibe those skills, certain skills, and they can implement them effectively in the business world. So I'm completely with you there, that we need to raise awareness and provide more opportunities to bridge that gap, and but mainly change people's way of approaching the issue.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm curious to get your thoughts on how you think the marketing space has changed over the last 3 to 5 years. And how do you think we've used digital marketing to the fullest, especially considering COVID as well?
Yeah, COVID has kind of thrown people's life off balance now. Yeah, but things are changing. Their ways of working are changing, and so is marketing, right? With so many different platforms to market things on, the approach has changed as well. And now there's targeted marketing, of course, but mostly people who do well are the ones that recognize what their customers want, and instead of pushing it onto them like it used to happen 10, 15 years ago. So that again comes back to empathy.
Absolutely. And Ram, you had mentioned this a couple of times that you attended Wayne State, and I have to let you in on a little secret. My brother, I have an identical twin brother, and he is currently studying for his PhD in sports psychology over at
Wow,
Wayne State. So it's a small world, buddy.
it is a small one.
So I'm
Wow.
curious to ask you about your favorite memories of attending Wayne State and what you liked about going to school in Detroit specifically.
Um, when I moved to the United States, when I moved to Detroit, that is, it was my first move outside India. So it was an exciting time for me, but a lot of my fondest memories of Detroit were created because I met so many people from so many different cultures. Wayne State also has the largest campus in the United States when it comes to the number of students and the diversity. So I had friends from like dozens of different countries, and that gave me the opportunity to learn and grow. And I'm constantly doing that. I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly evolving. Um, and yeah, that's the I yeah, that's one of the reasons. Not just Detroit, not just Wayne State, but also Detroit brings back some very fond memories because of the people that I met there and the relationships that I made.
Yeah, I always tell people, Ram, that life is a constant game of networking. You never know where life is going to take you, right?
That's true.
So Mapleton says it's important for all of us to remember, if we're in a position of leadership, that others can provide a thought-provoking perspective if we just give them the opportunity to succeed. And he says that we all deserve a piece of an equitable pie.
Sure, we can talk about the workforce first. Uh, and a lot of highly skilled immigrants come from so many different countries to North America, United States and Canada, and they have a lot to offer. And in both my own experience as well as that of certain people that I've met, if it's easier for people to start working in the fields of their education or prior experience, then it's easier for them to contribute to the society. It's you're trying to optimize or maximize people's experience here. If you have, let's say, um, uh, an engineer who comes in from India and they have to go jump through different hoops just to work in engineering, while another possibility would be that they can start working while they earn their credentials. Then they can contribute to the economy in the field that they're most comfortable with. So making it easier to jump through reducing the number of hoops that they have to jump through would be one of the most effective ways to leverage the strengths of international employees. And as far as business relationships go, I don't know how much say I would have in that issue, but it's always a question of it's closely tied to politics, right?
Well,
Diplomatic relations and things like that.
everything comes back to politics in one
Yeah,
way or the other, doesn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And tell me, my final question for you today, Ram, is I'm wondering if you've given any thought to how you want your personal or professional legacy to be defined.
Good question. I want to make a positive difference to as many people in as many people's lives as possible. Bring out the best in them, and that's something that I like to think I'm good at. So hopefully I can keep learning about people and keep contributing more to society.
Absolutely. And tell me finally, if people want to get connected with you, what's the best way they can do that?
My author name is different from my name. So my author name is Roy Mapleton. My social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, they're all at Roy Mapleton. And they can also contact me via email, roymapleton@gmail.com. I also have my LinkedIn profiles, but they're in my legal name, Ram Sundar.
Fantastic. Well, I want to thank you for spending a few minutes with me to talk about business diversification, effective job search strategies, and so much more. I really enjoyed our conversation, and I want to thank you for being here. It's most appreciated.
Thank you so much for hosting me, Kevin, and I truly appreciate the opportunity, and I've thoroughly enjoyed our conversation today. And my best wishes to you going forward as well.